Happy 5th birthday, Draft Crafters. It's Dan, it's JP, and it's not our 5th birthday, but it is the 5th birthday of NIL. It's been around for 5 years now.
Really?
It feels like it's been around for 5 minutes and 5 ever at the same time. But it literally...
I would have guessed like 2 years on it.
Yeah, I know.
How
2021 was when it started. And it started with, guys talking about getting, I think it was Derek King or whatever in Miami was talking about getting a huge $20,000 deal. And it's just crazy the way that it has gone from $20,000 for a quarterback at a Power 5 or Power 4 school that now gets $5 million quarterbacks that they poach from teams after the deadline, so to speak. So cheers to all of the chaos that has resulted from a 5-year-old NIL deal.
What is going on here? Oh.
Uh-oh. How's that one? Okay.
It's perfectly fine. It seemed angry off the start. And given one of last week's episodes.
Yeah. With my volcano. Yeah. Yeah, that one. I still need to get that towel washed.
A bummer situation, though. This is a beer that I've had many, many times. I will be drinking a new beer on the next episode, but I wanted to let that one get extra cold because I just left the store, But this also just felt right, given the heat index is north of like 2 million right now.
It's the we're in Scovilles, not Fahrenheit right now. Jeez, like seriously, it's the same heat level that a pepper has right now, as far as I'm concerned. Outside, if you're in Michigan, you understand that. If you're in Europe, you understand that. If you're in one of the air-conditioned stadiums they're playing the World Cup in, they don't care so much. But it's been a scorcher here, and it's not going to abate really until, I want to say, Sunday maybe for a lot of people. So the good news is the U.S. doesn't play again until Monday. For those of you who haven't been following the World Cup, let's hear it for the boys. They got by Bosnia and Herzegovina, and we managed to avoid an international incident last night at the bar when we were watching the game because there was one guy who's American, but his family's from Bosnia, so he had a bunch of friends with Bosnia, and then there were other people picking on people, and it was good-natured until it wasn't, and then we calmed everybody down, and we're all good. It was all the way around. It's good fun. But again, it was good to see the boys get through. And now it's the revenge match because Belgium is the team that knocked out the U.S. back in 2014 in extra time and penalties. That was where Tim Howard got his Secretary of Defense name. And I'm looking forward to them coming back and sticking it to these Dirty Red Devils in the next one.
Aha. We'll see. I told you they were going to make it out of the 32 for sure.
Yeah, you're right. Yep. I was nervous just because Bosnia has a tendency to be sneaky and physical and whatever, and then they just did hardly anything the whole match, so we'll take it. But that's not the biggest thing that's been happening in our pocket of the world. First off, real quick, July 1st is also, and it's the second today, but July 1st is also the day when conference realignments are official. So Sacramento State is officially a member of the MAC now for however long.
Do we factor that into our thing?
Not yet. We're gonna recalibrate now that they're officially official. You and I will sit down and recalibrate some of the teams. Got to move around. But again, Sacramento State, which is in California, is in the Mid-American Conference.
Makes perfect sense though with everything else.
Well, but that's the thing. It's not even so much football, right? Football is obviously what we focus on. But you think about the fact that all of the other sports have got to travel out to California now, which sounds like fun until you realize you got to do that in like January or something, right? Which I'm not saying Sacramento isn't a lovely place to be in January, but just it's going to suck for travel and for trying to disrupt kids' lives even more than it already does. But they're already in there. We'll go over all that stuff when we get closer to the college football season, but it is officially official. All those conferences have got their new members in it, and we'll get a chance to see how that all shakes out with Northern Illinois going to the Mountain West. That's where we're at right now. Names don't mean a thing except in the Sun Belt.
It is strange. It is super strange.
And that's for college. Now, something else happened in the NFL that kind of hits close to home for the team that you're wearing a shirt of right now.
Yeah, I'm going to take it off. I'm kidding. Not really. I'm not going to take it off. Are you trying to cue me up for a rant?
I'm just saying, somebody just had to take it off because he won't be playing there no more.
Oh, my God. So here's the... This just fuels my fire even more of why in the hell did we draft Terrion Arnold over Cooper DeJean, who was a top 6 player for me in that draft.
You went back and checked that just to remind me.
Well, not that he was top 6. We all knew that. But I went back and listened to the episode, and I was basically like, okay, they traded up here for me, this is a no-brainer. It's Cooper DeJean, despite you and Brad both when we did our mocks, because this was the draft in Detroit, mind you.
Right. Yep.
So this is where Terrion Arnold, it was our pick when we had the home draft. Golly, just even more
makes it even, right.
But so you guys, when we're doing our mock in the brewery, you're like, give it up. Like he's not going to make it to Detroit. And I'm like, you guys don't know that. And I think I quoted when I said there's no way that Riley Reef would have been there for Detroit. And if he was, that I'd run a naked lap around the world or something like that.
Right. Yep. I remember that.
Well, Cooper DeJean was there, and that was a no-brainer, and I highlighted that on many episodes. But to be fair, I did say, if they don't go Cooper DeJean, it sucked because they kind of, backed themselves into a corner of having to take a cornerback.
Right.
So it was hard to knock them for taking Arnold. I was just like, dude, it's hard to knock them.
They drafted for a need.
Yeah, it's hard to knock them for it, but they just totally got it wrong. Like, it should have been Cooper DeJean. This pretty much guarantees that. Right. Salt in the wound for me. But, oh my gosh, like, what in the hell was this guy? What is he thinking?
That's the thing. He wasn't thinking. Again, you could look. I have no doubt.
Dude, damn. It makes me mad.
Let's say I have no doubt anybody would be frustrated if someone stole $250,000 worth of stuff. I don't care how rich you are. That's still a chunk of your stuff, right? But there's so many other ways to handle it that don't involve allegedly, because again, we got to point out he has been cut from the Lions, so that's done. But he has just been charged with these things. He's
officially on waivers, too.
Yeah, he's not been convicted of anything yet, but allegedly, basically trying to take the law into your own hands that way. That's not the way you handle things.
We're just. And I talked to you a little bit about this before we got on the pod. I just want to highlight this on here. I'm done with cornerbacks. And I think deep down, I had some sort of intuition, premonition, whatever ishin you want to call it.
Right.
I had it because let's go back and look at all the mocks that I was doing. I would have, my defensive backfield, mind you, we could have taken all these guys. They were on the clock for us, and I mocked them to the Lions, like in what I would do on draft day in that moment.
Right.
We would have had Kyle Hamilton. And this is I'm not doing this in like chronological order. Just off the top of the head. I'm trying to do it chronological, but it's not going to work out. I definitely still would have had Brian Branch. I definitely would have had Nick Manawari. I would have had Cooper DeJean.
Right. So all safeties, but still.
Hey, tell me you wouldn't trade or you would take all those guys over.
Oh, yeah, of course you'd take all of them. 100%.
Yeah. Brian Branch and Cooper DeJean can be on the outside while you have Hamilton and Manawari.
They'd figure it out. Figure it out. There's no doubt about that. But this is the thing. The Lions need to take a page out of the Rams playbook. Yeah. Just don't draft. I take it back. Don't draft a corner. Don't draft a corner on either the first 2 days. I'll let you throw some day 3 capital like they did this year with Abney, and hopefully he's not going to be caught by whatever this bug is. We're going to have to go there and splash him with holy water or something when the season starts. Maybe splash him for something from the Detroit River. I don't know if that's going to help or hurt him, but that's the thing. It's like first 2 days, just don't. Do what the Rams did and go trade for guys and pick them up in free agency because you just cannot draft corners. I don't get it. And that's not just Brad Holmes. I thought it was just Holmes, and then you reminded me.
All the way back to Slay.
Exactly. It's been going for a long time.
Then pre-Darius Slay, you got to go all the way back to Westbrook, and pre-Westbrook, you got to go all the way back to Terry Fair. And, hey, I'm not even saying these guys were like Westbrook made some Pro Bowls, but you get it. That's how terrible corners have been for Detroit. Unless you want to go to the 50s.
Well, I was going to say
LeBeau and Barney and Night Train and Larry and Christensen and some of those are safeties. I get it.
They did get Ray Crockett in '89. I liked Crockett for a little bit.
Oh, he's great.
Benny Blades was in '88, but he technically was a safety anyway. So yeah, that's my point. It's like it's not been good throughout the course of their history. And that's another miss. It just is.
It could be worse.
To say that otherwise.
We could be like your secondary team when it comes to quarterbacks until now.
Yeah. Well, hey, look, the Chicago Bears still have not had a 4,000-yard quarterback. Caleb came close.
You're going to have one this year.
Should this year. You never know, man. Second year could be all kinds of interesting. And that's one of the things we're going to talk about, not necessarily today, obviously when we get closer into the season, how we think teams are going to project. Because we all thought Jaden Daniels, including me, was going to have a great second year. He got hurt a bunch. Washington collapsed. I'm not saying the Bears will collapse, but they are going to play a tougher schedule this year than they did last year. But what we're talking about today is continuing our series, now that we're 10 minutes into the show. We're continuing our series looking at
Your
college. Fault. 100% my fault. I'll take it. But we're looking at college. We're looking at the conferences. We're looking at least one player from each team throughout the entire FBS, which will be a lot of fun next week when we're doing the smaller schools. But this week, it's the Big 12, it's the ACC, and we're starting with the Big 12, which I've had to explain to my non-football friends, has 16 teams in it because that's just what we do now.
Yep.
No team that has a number in its name has the actual number of teams. It's so dumb. So dumb. Just change it every year, guys. It's fine. Keep the same logo, but just, change the numbers with the same font. Call it good.
Especially for the Big 12, because this is the Roman numeral, and half the population doesn't even know what that means.
Exactly. Give me a VI or an XVI. And just call it good. We'd have a lot of fun.
Yeah, people are like, that's 12. Looks just like it.
Close enough, right? All right, so Big 12. Do you want to start off? You want me to?
Sure, why not? I'm going to stick with my alphabetical order thing, so I'm going to go with Arizona here. Oh, and Detroit front office. Hey, don't listen to this take because it's a cornerback that I'm going to talk about, so don't even bother, okay? It's not going to go well. I do have 3 Arizona players, though, but 2 I have is UDFAs. It's Noah Fafita and Tay Brown. I do have them both on there. But the only guy that I currently have is a draftable grade, but definitely a day 3 guy. Could maybe work his way up. It's a cornerback. Go for DBs for Arizona. Didn't their entire defensive backfield get drafted last year? It seems like
they had a really good run.
It's crazy that the whole damn thing got drafted, and then you got Javion Cole sitting here. Yeah, he only had 23 tackles, so he's clearly not your super aggressive play the ball or the run type corner, but he had 4 picks and 4 pass deflections this past year and still there.
Right.
So I'm intrigued, especially considering somehow they're just everybody who plays DB for Arizona just puts up numbers.
He had 4 picks and 3 pass breakups on 380 snaps. He did not start
4 and 4.
all but
I have 4 and 4.
He started 2 games last year because of all the guys they had there.
Yeah. So do you see why I'm curious to see what he does this year?
He's got 12 total picks over 12, 13, whatever, over the course of his time. So, definitely curious about him.
Yeah.
The other team in Arizona, though, the Arizona State Sun Devils, I've got 4 players on the list right now. I'm not sure how many you've
I have
got,
2.
But,
okay.
2. I've got Owen Long, Reed Harris, Rayleigh Brown, and then I think the guy that most people are talking about, and that's who we'll talk about right now, Amarian Miller, the wide receiver.
We have one of the same, but also
that's fun.
Rayleigh Brown. Doesn't he play for Texas now?
Yeah, probably. I might have gotten him mixed up.
He transferred somewhere. I just can't remember where.
Yeah, well, hey, we knew this was going to happen at some point, and I'll bet. Yeah,
I'm just glad it was you
Brown,
before me,
right? Yeah, I was spending too much time on other stuff.
Oh, you looking it up
and not checking it out? Yeah, I'm looking it up right now, and I didn't spell Rayleigh right, so
Raleek.
I had a Y in there.
Oh.
Yeah, he's Texas, so yeah, never mind.
That's what I thought.
Take him out, and but we're still going to talk about Amarian anyways because he's kind of the guy that a lot of people
I got him
have.
there too.
Yeah, up there, 6'2", 210.
Well, real quick, just because apparently I like to interrupt you a lot. My bad. I was just going to say, Adrian Wilson I have on here, another corner from Detroit. Take them right off your board.
Yeah, right. Just remember, focus on other things. So the thing about Miller is he's coming off of kind of uneven production, if you will, in the time that he had at Colorado. But again, 6'2", 210, so he's got the size you like to see of a guy that's going to be in there. He's got a pretty good contested catch rate as well when you look at how things have gone for him. You'd like to see somebody who doesn't have quite as many penalties as him, but he's a guy who can split out wide. He's done a tiny bit of slot stuff. But again, 45 catches, 805 yards. What that shows me, all 3 seasons, even though he's only had 11, 10, 45 catches, obviously that last year the big one, his lowest average season was 17.9 yards. This is a deep threat guy, and a lot of teams in the NFL need a deep threat guy. So I'll be very curious to see how this season goes for him, being the focus of an offense for a change.
Dan, I'm going to do 2 mini takes because I apparently got logged out of PFF and I can't get in here. So the next team for me, I have Cincinnati. I only have 2 players for Cincinnati. I'll do a mini take on one, but I want you to look up this guy just to see how he was, because I honestly can't.
Okay.
I'm honestly
I've only got
blank
2 Cincinnati guys anyways.
Oh, well, I got Jonathan Thompson, the linebacker, who I'll talk about. But I can't remember what Evan Tengestel is, like, how he graded out, because apparently I didn't put the notes on there, but I have him as an interior lineman. But anyways,
right, yeah, he is.
And the mini takes, because neither one of these guys, they're probably both UDFAs, to be honest with you. But Jonathan Thompson, 74 tackles, 8.5 for a loss, 1 sack, 2 pass deflections. Like, I get it, nothing too incredible, but we want to talk about somebody from these teams, and these are the 2 players that stood out to me the most when you peek at some of the highlights and the tape from Cincinnati. But how did Evan grade out on the interior?
So here's what I'll tell you 3 things right now. 1, Evan Tankstall graded out at 85.4 overall with an 89.7 run and a 77 pass. Tankathon has him at 88, and Mock Draft Database has him at 97. So both of those sites have him.
He's going to get drafted at that. Then somebody's
he's not
super
at
high
UDFA.
on him.
Yeah.
Nope.
Enough people are, it seems like. So he's, and again,
like
we talked about how weak of an O-line class, interior O-line class, this feels
also fair
as of right now. So yeah, there's a really good chance he's going to be in that kind of a situation. As far as flipping the script over to Baylor, I got 3 Bears on my line.
I got 2.
Well, the third is a bit of a question mark. I don't know if you've got DJ Lagway on yours.
He's one of my 2. I have him as a UDFA though. So.
Right. Well, and that's why he's on my list of quarterbacks.
He's not going to come out. He can't. There's no way he plays well enough to come out, and he's still 20.
I agree with you. But this year, as wonky as we felt last year was, I've got a ton of quarterbacks where half of them are going to go back again. I've just accepted that is the way forward.
Especially with how deep it is, because they can't. You can't have 10 running backs go in the first round. Right. I think I finally listened to one of the stock exchange pods in a while. I hadn't in quite a while. It's funny. I was laughing. One of them cracked a joke of, because just the way everybody talks about this QB class, like, listen, everybody, 10 quarterbacks can't go in the first 5 picks.
Right, exactly.
You get it? Because that's how it seems. Like, everybody's talking this class up so much. I'm like, that's actually
going nuts
good.
Right
I like
now.
that.
That's well put. But yeah, the other 2 guys that I have on my board for Baylor are Daniel Cobbs and Hosea Wheeler. Wheeler, D-lineman.
Oh, wow. Yeah. I don't... The other guy I have is a safety. I have Jacob Redding as my other guy.
Yeah, Redding's not on mine, so there you go. So we're going to coordinate our list. I didn't want to do it before the shows because it's more fun to figure out which one of us is an idiot. And usually it's me, but I'm fine with that. So Daniel Cobbs is the guy you talk about. He's a corner, 5'11", 191. And I just want to keep going on this theme of talking about corners so that hopefully we'll jinx the Lions into not making a good or a bad choice. He played Kansas State his last 3 years, right? And so last year, he just started like at the end of the season. So this is a player that hasn't had a ton of hasn't been full-time at any point up to this point, but transferred into Baylor, I've got to imagine because he's expecting to be a starter for them. But even in part-time last year, still had 3 interceptions. So
did Redding.
Size. Right. Well, yeah, and then Redding as well. There you go. So take your pick on which guy you want to talk about when it comes to the secondary, but it's pretty clear that Baylor's secondary is going to be an interesting watch for us to see how those guys pop up there. And I'm glad that the Bears have more than 2 guys to talk about this year. We'll see how it all plays out for them.
All right, Colorado. I have 4 Colorado players.
I got 10.
I have to talk about one guy because let's be honest, we've been kind of talking about the whole plant. You know what I just decided live in the moment?
Uh-oh, what's that?
The guys, because these are the guys I'm trying to like allegedly plant my flag on, just so I don't have to go back and try to listen to this episode. You know what I mean? And recall what I did. Mm-hmm. I'm going to highlight the color of the name just in yellow.
There you go. That's good.
They're just going to be yellow because these are going to be our early season plant the flags. Now, a lot of people are going to want to talk about Ezra Christensen.
Sure.
Right? I also have DeAndre Moore Jr. and Boo Carter on here.
Right.
But I have to talk. Yeah. Hey, Boo Boo. Sorry, I had to do that.
Dude, no, I'm not kidding you. I had to explain to my wife what Boo Boo and Yogi were.
Huh?
That is where
checks out.
That is where our slight age gap, which is it's 11 years, it's not a big deal most of the time, but there's just those little moments where it's like you didn't grow up watching any Hanna-Barbera, and we kind of caught the tail end of it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if I watched reruns or like when it was
it's all reruns.
live.
No, it was all reruns.
Oh,
for the
it was?
most part. Like
Okay.
Hanna-Barbera was one of those animation houses that I watched a thing on this because it popped up and I was curious. They're one of those that was huge in like the 60s as like a different
we're
alternative.
nowhere near that.
Well, yeah, but then they kept going in through like the 80s and then they just kind of fizzled out. So a lot of that stuff was the reruns that we were watching, later on.
That checks out.
Yep.
Anyways, so the one player, I guess I'm going to highlight him yellow. I'm going to stick by my theme. I got the first two guys.
Mm-hmm.
In all fairness, though, just because I was off and I didn't have my notes there, I did switch it over to the Tengsendale for the Cincinnati because I'm not super high on any of them.
Yep.
But anyways, Gideon Lamprun, guy I've been talking about for a while.
Him.
Oh, yeah,
Linebacker.
we got to see how he does. He transferred from Bowling Green, so I can't give you any numbers on how he performed at Colorado, but I'm here to tell you last year at Bowling Green, 119 tackles, 2.5 sacks, pass deflection. I even got the PFF numbers here. Run was at 85. He definitely could improve more in the pass coverage, but here's the thing. It's a 69.7. That's probably pretty damn good for a linebacker, according to PFF. Like, you know what I mean? Because the way they curve that. But I've been a fan of this guy for a couple of seasons now. I can't wait to see what he does in a step-up competition. So Gideon Lamprun.
This is his second step.
Linebackers.
Right.
Yeah,
this is his second step because he was Dayton, then Bowling Green, now Colorado. Yep. So he's doing the modern progression, if you will. All right, so we'll see how that goes. It's Danny Scudero. I'm still putting a shout out for him. He's going to be an older wide receiver, but a fun little slot guy. Had a great year last year at San Jose State. We'll see what he does this year for them as well. Brigham Young, the Cougars. Several guys on this team. Surprisingly enough,
I have 5.
I have one in here accidentally twice. I'm still not sure how that happens. Just giving you live edits. I've got 6. So I've got L.J. Martin, Evan Johnson, Parker Kingston, Bruce Mitchell, and Sonny McKinsky. So both of their interior
I have 2
guys.
of them.
Yeah, they're 2 interior offensive linemen, Bruce Mitchell, Sonny McKinsky, are guys that I'm curious about. But I feel like Parker Kingston is the one that people are going to be most familiar with. And I'm not necessarily planting a flag with him, but he is the one that when I look at that list of guys kind of makes me nod like, okay, I could see this, being a guy that's going to happen for.
You got to pick one.
Oh, well, then it's him. I mean, because this guy he's a 5'11", 185, so he is a slot guy. At least that's where, he spent about 40% of his time out wide, but he feels like he's going to profile like a slot guy at the next level, partially just because of how they used him and where it feels like he's going to be a good fit. And again, there were some games where he didn't even get like 10 snaps out wide, right? So that's kind of his focus. But again, 67 catches, 928 yards, almost 14 a pop, and 5 touchdowns when he wasn't the focal point of the offense. It's a pretty good sign of somebody that now he's going to have to make that jump up. And Brigham Young is a team that's expecting to be very good this year. If he pops up in the 80 catch range, something like that, it would not surprise me in the least.
Real quick, just because I actually kind of like this guy quite a bit. I don't know how to say his name. Filetau Satuala, a safety.
That's spectacular.
For bringing him. Yeah, I'm a big fan of him.
I'm a big fan of you trying to say his name.
Yeah, I'm glad I don't have to say it a ton because it's your team. Anyways, my next team. This is extremely easy.
Okay.
How many? What do you got for Kansas? Hit me up. What do you have?
Dude,
I have
it
one
was an
player,
effort.
and it won, and I have a UDF grade on him. It's just the only one. Like I feel like their team might be one of the worst that I had to scout.
It's tough. I have 4, but I don't feel good about any of them. So I've got Leroy Harris III as a D lineman, Cam Pickett a wide receiver, Dylan Edwards at running back, and Trey Latham at linebacker.
Trey Latham.
Yeah, I figured it would be a linebacker for you.
Yeah, no kidding. Linebackers and safeties, dude. But yeah, 86 tackles, 7 for loss, sack and a half, pick, 5 pass deflections. Makes me feel good. His pass coverage grade's 80. Talk about a linebacker getting an 80
That's
grade
good.
for PFF.
Yeah, that takes some talent.
So yeah, that's easy. He's the only one I currently have on my list. I'm sure I missed people, but this is just who popped to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I will tell you this, though, going back to BYU, Faletau Satala, I'm going to guess that's how we say his name. He technically is a true junior, so that's why he wasn't on my list. He can still come out, obviously, but...
Why does that matter? I just did anybody draft eligible.
Well, again, I'm leaving. I left a lot of the true juniors off my list at a lot of different positions because more and more of those guys are staying in now that they're getting the NIL money.
Oh, sure.
That's kind of where I've been. Mostly I've just been frustrated and bitten by all the times that things have gone south on me with all that. So. Central Florida.
Aha.
I got 3. You got 4? Ooh. All right. Who are your 4?
I got 4. I have Braden Marshall, Demarion Henderson, Lewis Carter, and Dylan Wade.
Okay, well, we're going to have to, unite on a couple of those because I've only got Wade and Carter, and then I've got Jaden Bellamy at corner. And I feel like, I don't know, do you feel good about any of those guys?
Well, I put a UDF on Henderson and Carter. Mm-hmm. I apparently just said that Marshall has a chance of being in my top 31 corners. I don't know why I said it there. Right. Maybe that's the number. But then Dylan Wade is blank. So I doubt I've done a big enough dive on him. Let's be honest for this. I had to really kind of focus on my teams. But yeah.
Yep.
So I guess Dylan Wade... Marshall would be the one that apparently pops in me, but he looks like he doesn't tackle either. 22 tackles. But two picks, pass deflection. I don't know. Mm-hmm. Yeah, well,
Dylan Wade is the guy that I'm going to mention because he is a quirky tight end. He's listed at 6'2", 240, which means he's basically an H-back. So he's an H-back, fullback-y type guy who still caught 43 passes last year for 523 yards and 5 touchdowns. And so he's the kind of player he's right in your wheelhouse, man. He's the kind of guy that you'd love to see.
He's got fullback vibes.
Right, but he's not a great run blocker, at least how they've been using him. So his blocking numbers last year were bad. He was better at Maryland before that. But so he is a late day 3 kind of guy that you put in your team because you want a guy who's scrappy is what it feels like to me, even if he needs to do some refining in the pass technique. But for a guy who's his size, when he doesn't have the height advantage that you normally get at that position, to put up 40-some-odd catches is still a pretty good sign for him.
All right, TCU. I only have 3. Texas Christian. 1, Jaden Craig, transfer. I also have Jordan Dwyer, wide receiver. But this one's easy for me. Mm-hmm. Despite him going to be almost 24 on draft day, 23 and a half, roughly. Mm-hmm. Dude, Jamel Johnson, coming off a season, 96 tackles, 5 picks, 3 pass deflections, graded great across the board. Mostly run rather than coverage, really. But, I mean...
You need that.
When you have an underclassman, granted, he's a little older, but anyone who's still in college coming off from a season with 5 picks,
right?
I'm intrigued if you're a DB. Like, a lot of them can be luck, but, I mean... that's why you're intrigued. You got to dig into the tape, see this next season, see if it's a coincidence or if this guy just has a nose for the football. There's enough to make me wonder. Yeah,
like his picks were against SMU, Colorado, Baylor, and USC. Yeah. So those are all schools. Legit. Yeah, he played against real competition, 6'1", 200. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Johnson's the guy that stands out to me on that team as well. Before we get to the rest of the teams here, I think technically we're one past the midpoint, but let's have a little chit-chat about some beverages that we've been partaking in now. And if there's anything else you want to throw in from stuff you've had in the past, but which one are you drinking right now that you've had before, and does it still hit the same way?
It's hitting the same way. I intentionally wanted to do it because you and I both have said this might be our favorite, like, it's a hot day beer.
Okay.
So that's the only reason I chose it. And chose it? Did I say chose it?
You did, but it's okay.
I chose it, dude. To see if it hits the same. Right. It does. It's the Grapefruit B-43, man. Yep. And here's the thing. Look how clear that thing
color.
Is.
Yeah.
It's just nice light, and it's so flavorful and so light, so you don't get full, and you don't... And I already forgot when we researched the science of what they did on this to make it so different to where it's not like all crazy, like carbonated and whatnot. They do something different. Go back and listen to the last time I talked about it, I guess. But I'm just here to tell you, man, it might be my favorite grapefruit IPA. It's killer. I don't know what Old Nation does in Williamston, Michigan, but they are pretty damn good with hazies. And I don't think it can't be called a hazy. No, it's just...
No, it's not.
It's just
IPA. Just a regular one. But the fact that it is as good as it is as a regular, because they've got, like, they're funky with some of what they do. Like, they focused on the B line, the grapefruit, and then I think they have a tangerine as well. I think
tangerine, which is phenomenal as well.
Right, and those two are both spectacular, but they get weird with the M43s because they do, like, all kinds of flavors that are all over the place with it. But the B43 is like and it's technically called a brute IPA, and that's probably why it's a B, right?
Oh, that's But that's what we're getting into because you're talking about the champagne and the differences.
Yeah, and again, grapefruit and the IPA, just the type of bitterness that both of those are, just go so well together. Like I don't mind grapefruit, but I'm not usually going to sit down to a glass of grapefruit juice or just a straight grapefruit, right? Just because I can, but it isn't my usual choice.
I eat a grapefruit every weekend.
Well, that pretty much covers it. This is another.
It's my favorite fruit. It's my favorite fruit.
Mm-hmm. See, and that fits with your profile of wanting the hoppiest things and etc. But what I tell you is like, but I love how that grapefruit, and I like a grapefruit IPA full stop. Like I will try one if I come across it, but that one is the best one we've had so far.
It's just so, I don't know, it's so enjoyable.
Mm-hmm. I decided
I think it's just because it's light. It's so light, but still so
But
flavorful.
it's the right kind of light. Yeah,
and it's not like light because it's still 7%.
Right, exactly. Which
I think is like the perfect. I think that's like the perfect.
It's a good sweet spot.
Yep.
And again, I want to remind people, we will be doing light beers at some point this summer.
Or does it?
No, it does not.
There's no way that one.
Oh, it would. The rest of the competition, it wouldn't be a competition. No. The Super Light Beer Challenge is still a thing. I got to remind both of us for this. So I decided though to go to a style that we keep trying to find good ones from and keep trying struggling.
Sours?
No, that's just you. This one is called West Mode. It is
a West
Coast IPA from Weldwerks Brewing, and Weldwerks Brewing is in Colorado, in Greeley. So I decided, you know what? Colorado does some pretty good beer too. And maybe, since they're closer to the West Coast, they can do a better West Coast IPA. And it's not bad, right? I think the thing that bugs me about a West Coast, at least this one, it's not bad. Like the flavor's still pretty decent on it. But it has that lingering bitterness to it that it's not enough to be like the hoppy, okay, I'm getting a lot going on here. It's caught between, right? So it isn't the chill like a hazy. It isn't like hoppy like a big boy, like a two-hearted or whatever. It's just there, and it's not there in a way that makes me want it to be there, if that makes sense when you're drinking a beer, right? It's the bitterness that you notice and you don't enjoy in a beer. It's kind of like when you drink a cup of coffee, which I don't do, but I'm told it's like, and it's a little burnt or whatever, right? Not this one's burnt. It's just got a little bit of that flavor that it's a good West Coast, right? This West Mode from Weldwerks, it's a good West Coast, but it's just not my style. If you like West Coast, I got mine at Siciliano's place over by, Standale. If you're west of Grand Rapids, that's a good spot to go grab some single cans. But I will certainly finish this. This is probably like 2.75, 3, maybe a 3. But again, West Coast, for us at least, you and I, they kind of started a lower number to begin with. Just because that style,
yes.
Don't get me wrong, I'll put it ahead of a lager. We were watching the soccer game last night, U.S. and Bosnia, and there was a girl there in a Budweiser shirt. And so I had to give her a hard time about that. I told her, like, go drink a Founder's Solid Gold and start from there if you want to hang around Grand Rapids and drink something that looks like a Budweiser but actually tastes good. Start with that and go from there.
Hey, I would rock a PBR tea.
Well, of course you would. I would too. That's a different story. Budweiser's just not. I'm sorry. No offense to the wonderful people at Anheuser-Busch, but you're not cool, guys. You just aren't. Your commercials are. The horses, love it.
The Clydesdales?
Yes.
Classic.
Love that. Loved back in the day in the 90s with the Bud Bowl. Bring the frogs back. Just go hammer the nostalgia for all the people who grew up watching the commercials when they couldn't drink the beer and now don't want to drink the beer because of how it tastes. Bring the nostalgia back and you might get somewhere with it. We'll see. Anything else you want to talk about beverage-wise, though, that you've been having lately?
I guess if I want to just pull up this app, because I am drawing a blank on if there was anything new. I know there is.
Yeah,
there has to be something. I'm sure I talked to you about it, but let's wait for this thing.
Well, I did
load.
have a fun one yesterday. So again, I've been at the same bar in Grand Rapids. It's called Speakeasy, and it's the soccer bar in Grand Rapids. So the bar, they haven't changed their menu since the World Cup started, which doesn't surprise me. They've been slammed every night. But they do have a Stone beer that I had, like their Cerveza, which is basically like their kind of take on a Corona, basically, which I had at the end of the night last night because I was looking for something lighter, and they were playing on the West Coast, and that's the only West Coast beer I could find. I think besides the other one that I had last time. But they did, what I will say this about the bar, is they give you the lime, but they dip the lime in tahini before they put it on the rim. And so that made it a little more fun because you got a little tiny bit of spice in there too. Because obviously you squeeze the lime, put it in there, go to town. So yeah, there you go. What'd you find?
I had the other Big Bad Baptist, the Solstice one. That is a stout. It's a 13.2 stout,
right.
Imperial double coffee stout.
Oh, dang. Glad you had that instead of me.
You know what's crazy? I didn't get hardly any coffee on this thing.
Interesting.
I put some notes on here, and I tend to agree with what they were saying. But you're gonna have to. I've never been able to say this right. But
we had fun with macaroon and macaron last time, so go for it.
Right, and I failed that, and we found out there was two different ones, or it's technically they were actually intentionally trying to say it wrong or something.
Right?
Well, how do you say, is the A silent and the ANISE?
Anise? No, it's anise.
Is it?
Some people say anise.
And I always want to.
Some people say anise, but I don't like the star
anise.
Anise is the way you're supposed to say that, in my opinion.
Yeah, star, and I was going to say anise.
And for those of you who aren't aware, star anise is like what gives black licorice its flavor. It's that kind of flavor that goes into Jaeger, stuff like that.
So almost took the words out of my mouth. My tasting note was going to be black licorice, but I couldn't find it on there. I could only find licorice, and I didn't know if that was going to be the same.
It's like red vines.
Like red. Yeah. So I kind of left it off, and then after I checked in, I saw they said star anise. I was like, oh,
there you go.
That never came to my. I never even thought of that. Never even considered that. But I was like, that's spot on. I agree with you there. It's also I also put clove. Barrel aged, but we knew it was barrel aged.
Right.
I knew it was barrel aged, but there's a clove
interesting,
like cooking herb,
earthy. This is like a spiced coffee stout.
Yes, minus coffee, because I basically got like the clove note, but the two strongest notes were the black licorice, and I put orange and was stuck on a fruit that I couldn't figure out. It was some sort of other. I didn't want to say citrusy or red, but somewhere in between. I couldn't figure it out. I went and looked at it afterwards because I try not to do that ahead of time. It's pomegranate.
Well, there you go.
It's that is. And fits. Again, never would have thought to say star anise or pomegranate.
Right.
But I knew I had black licorice, clove, and orange, and barrel aged, and then some unknown fruit that I couldn't figure out that went with it. Dude, all of those notes were stronger than the coffee. Long story short, I still only gave it like a 3.25.
Oh, okay.
It was so weird drinking. I'd probably drink it again, but it's so strange drinking a beer that's a double stout that's 13.25 or whatever I said %, and all I'm getting is it had a lighter vibe to it, and I'm getting a fruity black licorice. I couldn't. I don't know. I didn't know what to do with it. My tongue was so confused. It was
so. Real quick, though, between that and the macaron, which one do you think was better? Macaron. I can't remember which one, how we decided. I think they said macaron for that.
They said macaron, but we weren't good with it. Where's the macaron?
Because, again, that was two different big bad Baptists you got.
I gave them the exact same 3.25.
All right.
But so it seems like you asked me, I'm going to say maybe the Solstice, just because I was let down. Because I'm salty. Because one of the notes that I was supposed to get in the macaron was coconut.
Right, and you didn't.
I didn't get.
So that's interesting, by the way, that for both beers, one of the main notes of what it should be wasn't in
coffee
there for you.
I didn't
that's
get
interesting.
Nope.
All right. Well, next show, I will give you a little breakdown on something we hardly ever talk about on this show. We can talk about some wine next time, but we'll get to that a little later on. Jumping into the second half, and I really find it funny, by the way, because we split our teams out, and obviously we have to trade some guys around. I think the Big 12 is fine, but apparently I have all of the early in the alphabet teams in comparison to yours, so I'm still on Houston right now.
Yeah.
And they've got, I've got a handful of Cougars. I've got Amari Thomas, Trent Walker, Shadre Hurst, Anthony Boswell, Mekhi Hughes, Jalen Mayo. Those are all the guys that I have right now.
I had 2 of those out of the 4.
Okay.
I also had Will James and Connor Weigman, who feels like he's been in college football ever since we started the show.
Yeah, Weigman is a guy that I didn't have on this list only because of how many other quarterbacks there are right now.
Well, I got a UDFA on him.
He is a guy who would be affected by the new rules for you only have 5 years to play 5 years.
Here's a question. How old do you think Connor Weigman is?
He's got to be at least 24.
He's 22.
How?
Granted, 22.9.
Okay, but still 23. That again, he just feels like he's been around for 6 seasons. Clearly, he hasn't been, which is good for him because he could be still playing under those rules. He just felt like the kind of guy who would be under those rules because it boggles my mind like how wild it is with some of these players that you're like, how did this guy hang around this long? You're like, oh, he's 22, like you said. It's just I don't get it, man. I'm still trying to figure out
August 8th,
where some of these guys, right? Where some of these guys, and again, probably because they come in, and for his case, it's probably because he came in, he was a highly touted freshman, and then bounced around and didn't do a whole lot, and they're trying to figure him out. Yeah, so I don't know. But for Houston, I'm going to talk about a guy who's had a ton of production for them at the wide receiver spot, and that's Amari Thomas, number 0, 6'205".
Who's only 20, by the way.
Who's only 20, but has had 3 seasons of actual, some level of production. He had 53 catches at UAB, and then 64, and then last year at Houston had 67. Almost 1,000 yards, had 12 touchdowns. So he knows how to get in the end zone. He doesn't drop the ball. He gets to where he needs to get to. He plays slot and out wide, depending where you need him at. He feels like a very versatile guy who might get lost in a little bit of the shuffle, depending on how this season goes for him, obviously. But we're going to be talking about him as like a 4th-round pick that people are going to be thinking, he's going to be making the team and going to be a 3rd wide receiver on a team or something like that. That feels like the progression for Amari Thomas, who, again, even though he's only 20, is draft eligible and ready to go for this year.
All right, off to Texas Tech. Kings of buying their own team.
So many potentials.
I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I have a 6-pack from Texas Tech.
I've got like.
But this is literally a 2-horse race for me. You have 15. You're a wild.
I have 15 names. Now, mind you, one of those 15 names is Brendan Sorsby because he's
one of my
back
6
in the 2027. Dude, I don't know if you saw me, but what I sent to you, I posted on Twitter, just trying to start like flame wars with people. Just be like, Brendan Sorsby, I've 100% taken responsibility for my actions after spending 100% of my effort to not take responsibility for my actions. So dumb.
Pretty spot on.
Kid.
Pretty spot on. So the ones that I wasn't going to consider were Cameron Dickery, Brennan Sorsby, because I feel like tomorrow something could change, and who knows.
Well, regardless, he's mid-level guy anyways.
And Austin Romaine.
Sure.
And Terrence Carter. Those are the 4 that are also on my list. The 2 it comes down to, though, and this was close. A.J. Holmes Jr. I was really tempted to do at D-line. Really tempted, but I just don't know how I don't go. I got to go with Bryce Pollock, man.
Okay.
Like, it's another corner.
Romaine.
Detroit, calm down. He's coming off the injury and had a tough year last year because of that. But, dude, Bryce Pollock last year, 48 tackles, 5 picks, and 8 pass deflections.
There you go.
He got an 82.5 against the run and 79 in coverage. That's like 160 together. For run and pass coverage grades, like he played well. Like he played very well, and he's 21 right now.
5 interceptions.
Yeah, I gotta go with Bryce Pollock. I'm super intrigued. Sorry, AJ Holmes Jr. Man, you were the runner.
I'm having so much fun talking about all of these cornerbacks that we don't want to try to draft because they're going to screw them up.
Yep.
It's going to be great. Iowa State, dude. I have 2 Iowa State players.
Iowa State. Let me scroll up to Iowa State.
And again, for those of you who don't remember,
Yeah, I have 1.
For those of you who don't remember, Iowa State was rated.
You don't have him.
That'd be great.
Watch this.
Iowa State was rated by Matt Campbell when he went to Penn State. Took about 25 players with him, so they had to rebuild as quickly as they could. So I've got Cody Jackson and Isaac Terrell.
Aha! I have Isaac Terrell.
Okay. And Isaac Terrell is the guy we'll talk about, just because Cody Jackson's kind of on my list, but he isn't a guy that I feel great about. My goal was to get 2 for every major conference team, and then I'm having a struggle getting even 1 for some of the smaller guys just because they keep bouncing around. But Terrell's one of those quirky edge rushers in the sense that he's 6'2", 247 is what he's listed at, right? So he's kind of in that a little bit too small. We're going to have to see how his arms measure out. Maybe he's more of a 3-4 kind of guy sort of thing, but he's big enough, at least weight-wise, to where he could compete. So I'm not quite sure how to feel about him yet, but 9 sacks last year with Washington, according to PFF. I don't know what he came out with on the stat sheet. Usually they're within a few sacks one way or the other, but had 39 total pressures, which not bad on 220 pass rushing snaps. So he's been a part-timer outside of half of last season. Second half of last season, he became a starter. He's jumping up from Washington State to Iowa State. Obviously, a jump up in competition, but he could be one of those fun kind of tweener guys. Plus, he wears number 88, which is just hilarious for me.
One of my favorite numbers.
Exactly. I figured you'd appreciate that too. So Isaac Terrell's the guy for Iowa State.
Well, I'm on to Utah here, and I only have 2 people. So again, it's a two-horse race. Who are your 4?
I've got Brandon Pagan, Wayshawn Parker, Devin Dampier, and Elijah Reed.
Aha! You made it easy for me. I'll pick the guy you don't have. I have Wayshawn Parker, and I'll do mini takes for both. Wayshawn Parker only 149 carries, but dude, he almost went for 1,000. He's at 6.6 a pop.
Yeah, you like that?
Is fun, and I like his size too. He's like 5'10", 205 allegedly.
Sure,
but no, I guess the guy just to have fun with you because. You didn't even have him on your list. Jackson Benny or Benny, I don't know, Bennee. I don't know how you want to say that.
Yeah, Benny. We're going with Benny.
It's a safety. Go figure. It's easy to persuade me into a safety. Right. Only 64 tackles. Not awful. Not great. Respectable. But, dude, 4 picks, 5 pass deflections. His pass coverage grade was 81.5.
Yeah, he strikes me.
Needs some help in the run game. But.
Interesting. So he's got 287 snaps in the slot last year at 6'2", 190. So are we getting to a point now where we have like big slot receivers? Now we're going to have big slot corners matching up?
Maybe.
Is that the newest thing?
Yeah.
Are we going to have to split our board out again? We talked about having a slot spot at one point. It just doesn't fit with everybody else's rankings.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun, though. You could do that maybe right before the draft, kind of like how I keep an interior line and then I split it to guard center.
We could do something like that when we get there. We can start the trend for that. Utah's an interesting team this year, though, because obviously the changeover in the coaching staff, they have the succession in place, but it's still going to be a different coach. We'll see if they can keep up what they've been doing. Kansas State, I have 2 players, partially because I forgot that Austin Romaine went over to Texas Tech.
I have 1.
I've got Garrett Oakley and Avery Johnson.
I have neither of those.
Which one have you got?
I got Joe Jackson, running back.
Okay. Sure.
Hit you with the stats?
Yeah, go ahead.
Only 169 carries, 911 yards. So he's only doing it at 5.4 a clip. But he's got 8 touchdowns, 22 catches. So he's shown that he can get in the end zone and he can be effective as a pass catcher. So
okay,
mildly intrigued.
Sure, and this will be a good season for him to figure that out.
I have a UDF grade,
right?
So
and again, this feels like a better year for running backs than last year at this point so far. Certainly with the names we've been talking about, and he could factor into that. Which also is another reminder: sometimes guys might want to take another year if they think it's a good year. Like I don't understand. Again, I've said this before. I'll say it again. Trinidad, you should have gone out last year, man.
Yep.
Unless you have a Heisman winning year this year. And even then, I think because
he's
going
to have to win the Natty and Heisman.
Yeah, for him to get that kind of recognition. Avery Johnson is a fun, quirky quarterback. I'm not going to talk about him because he's in that grouping of day 3 guys. But Garrett Oakley is intriguing because he's 6'5", 245 at tight end, unlike the 6'2" guys we were talking about earlier. And he's been at Kansas State all 3 years and has actually stayed, which is an anomaly in the way that college football goes right now. But 38 catches, only 398 yards, but 6 touchdowns. He's got 13 touchdowns across 3 years. So we know the guy can get in the end zone. We know he can find a way to high point the ball, at least a decent amount. His contested catch rate last year he got 6 out of the 8 that came his way. So there's a lot to like there in how he goes about it. And he feels like the kind of tight end that might not be a 1 when he gets to the league right away, but could be a really fun 2 that's going to be a great red zone option kind of a thing. So again, we're still talking probably day 3, but like a fun day 3 pick.
Yeah, and this is all fun because these are just all new names, man.
Right, exactly.
All right, last team for me, West Virginia Mountaineers. This is a 1-horse race. How many you got for West Virginia?
I have 5 West Virginia players.
Wow, hit me with all 5.
Okay, I've got Cam Cook, Zeke Durham-Campbell, Jamori Robinson, Jaden Bray, and Kamari Wilson.
Okay, you hit it with the first one. I got Cam Cook.
Dude, I loved him last year. He was on one of my teams last year.
I liked him too. He's, as you said, this is a different year, different team. But, only 5.6 a carry, which isn't great. We shy away from that a little bit. But, dude, almost 1,700 yards and 16 touchdowns with 30 receptions.
You got to remember, he was their offense
I'm intrigued.
last year.
Yeah.
He was their offense.
Correct.
And he'll have a little more help in West Virginia.
So, there you have it. I'm intrigued by Cam Cook. That's my flag guy. And the dude, I'm done with the Big 12. Who's the last team?
All right. I got Oklahoma State.
Oh, that
got
worked
my
out beautiful for you to
Cowboys.
end with your favorite team in the conference.
It did. It worked out well, of course.
We should have been doing that the whole time, saying our favorite team.
Okay, well,
I guess
real
everybody
quick,
knows.
we can catch up. I mean, Michigan in the Big Ten, obviously.
Yeah.
But then
Texas.
SEC, Texas for you.
Yes.
I don't know which one it is from. Probably Ole Miss. I got a weird soft spot for the Rebels.
It can't be Ole Miss because I had Ole Miss and traded, so you would have picked somebody over Ole Miss.
Well, no, or maybe you took Ole Miss away from me before I could pick it. You're sneaky.
How?
Like
Because I took Texas first. I would have taken Texas, then Ole Miss at
All right.
best.
Hang on. Now I got to go back and even take. First, I have to remind myself who in the bloody hell is even in that conference these days. But yeah, I would say
Oklahoma's your favorite.
You dirty. No, none of that. Looking at the teams that I covered, it's not Alabama. I like Georgia, but Georgia's annoying.
It would be fun. No, Georgia's got the Packers logo. Can't be them.
Right.
It would be fun if it was actually Oklahoma, only because my favorite team's Texas in there.
Well, it can't be Oklahoma because I'm an Oklahoma State fan.
Oklahoma State.
I'm actually gonna say it's Ole Miss right now is the team. So it may have been Georgia at one point, and now I'm just over it with them. And again, you have to remind me they do have the Packer logo, so you can't really.
But
can't really
they
do
have
that.
the coolest mascot in the whole.
They
nation.
do. Uga's awesome, especially when Uga faced down Bevo that one time. That was insane. But again, I'm an Oklahoma State fan because one of my buddies from one of my groomsmen, along with you at the wedding, is from or not from, but went to Oklahoma State for his last couple of years of school because his family moved out that way, and that was the choice that he made, and it worked well for him doing the environmental stuff he was doing, where he met his wife. It was awesome. But so Oklahoma State, I've got Wyatt Young, Drew Messamaker, Caleb Hawkins, Elon Wislowski, Jaden Jackson, and Braden Nelson. And a lot of these guys are imports from North Texas because they did the whole shift your team over when your coach moves. But Drew Messamaker is the guy, even though he might not be someone who comes out because of where he's at when you look at his eligibility still. But he had such a good year last year as a guy who didn't even start. I want to say he hadn't started since like JV in high school or something crazy along those lines in that ballpark. But it's 6'3", 211. He's a little thinner than maybe you like, but probably has a bit of a frame to work with. He had 34 touchdowns to 9 picks last year, 4,300 yards. So he's taking the same offense he did at North Texas and putting it into the Big 12. If he has another big year, it will be up to him whether he comes out. People are not going to say, oh, dude, you need another year. But he is in a position to, if he isn't going to be one of the top probably 5 or 6 quarterbacks coming out this year, he'll come back for one more year and be the guy most likely coming out, unless Arch stays in again like his dad says maybe. I don't know, we'll see. But yeah, Oklahoma State, they can't do worse than last year, right? So we'll see what happens to them as they come out there. Anything you want to wrap up with here with the Big 12?
Yeah, I guess I need to give my favorite team in the Big 12.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and say West Virginia.
Yeah, I mean, you are a bit of a mountaineer yourself, so.
Well, and plus singing country roads is a ton of fun.
Dude.
Right there, West Virginia Mountain Mamas.
Well, yeah, right, exactly. Yeah. No, and that's been the thing, by the way, for the U.S. soccer team at the end of the games. At the end of the wins, they all sing Country Road in the stadiums. 70,000 plus people singing Country Road is pretty fun.
It is. I think they were doing that back when in the NFL when Tom Brady and the Buccaneers were playing overseas. That whole stadium was doing that. Yeah.
It's
I'm going to go ahead and say West Virginia. It's tough for me because Texas used to be there, and it used to be Texas. So now it's like, oh, damn.
So you know what? That is something, I know we're doing it right now, but we might recap this at the start of the season. By the way, here are the favorites, because there's a bunch of realignment that happens in this in the smaller conferences more this year than before. But yeah, we'll have to reestablish where all of our favorites are at. Well, that's the Big 12 done. Next time, it's ACC, and even though there's one more team in the ACC, we're going to throw the 2 independents in as well. So we got to rip 19 teams next show.
We'll have to be
then.
Quick.
Efficient. Exactly. It's draft.